Welcome to the first session of the programme. So just a quick run through the basic Teams training before we begin. There are a few main buttons you need to be aware of. So we have the camera button, so you can choose whether to have your camera on or off by pressing this button. But please note that when your camera is on, everyone in the session can see you. Next to that, we have the microphone button, so this button controls whether we can hear you or not. We ask that you're all on mute, and when on mute there should be a line through the button. This makes sure that everyone can hear me properly and just reduces any background noise. However, if you do wish to speak or ask a question, press this button to unmute yourself and then we can hear you. But please make sure to pop yourself back on mute when you've finished speaking. Then we have the chat button, so if you have any problems, like you can't see or hear me, just pop a message in the chat saying help. And finally, when we have finished the session, please ensure to press the leave button to make sure you don't leave the session running. So as a general rule of thumb, if my Teams goes down and you can't see or hear me anymore, please wait 5 minutes whilst I'll try to get back in. If your Teams goes down, log off and log back in. This should sort the problem. If the connection is lost completely and we can't get back on, just drop me an email and we can talk about it in your next phone call. If you do have any questions or concerns regarding Teams training, please contact your key worker and we can help you to resolve these. So before we start, I just want to go over a brief overview of what to expect from the programme from here on out. So you've probably already met with the doctor, dietitian, physiotherapist, your key worker and the exercise assistants. So this next stage of the programme is what we call Phase 1. And this will be where the nutrition sessions will be delivered over the next 7 weeks, with each session followed up with a check-in phone call from your key worker to see how you're getting on and to discuss your goals. The sessions are based on each section from the Help Me to Be Healthy booklet, which you should have received by now. If you haven't received your booklet by now, please let your key worker know. If you're unable to make one of the sessions, it's really important that you let your key worker know so they can arrange to catch you up at another time. Next will be what we call Phase 2 of the programme. During the phase, your key worker will do a video call with you once every 2 weeks to see how you're getting on with your goals and to discuss a different health topic. So these health topics range from anything such as vitamins and minerals, to sleep and routines, to dealing with tricky times. This should then take you to halfway point of the programme. So whereabouts you'll be having a key worker review at about 6 months just to see how you're getting on with the programme. After this, you will then enter the maintenance phase of the programme. So this next 6 months takes you to the end of the programme. And then at the end of the programme, you'll have your final review before you are discharged. Your key worker will discuss each phase with you in more detail as you approach it, but does anyone have any questions before then, please do let your key worker know. So before we start today, just a bit of housekeeping. You may want to make some notes today, and so now would be a good time to grab a pen and paper, or you could write anything useful in your notes app on your phone if you prefer. I want you to enjoy this session, so please feel free to ask questions when you want, have a drink when you want, and go to the toilet when you want. Today's session should take about half an hour. You may also wish to have your booklet with you. We ask that there's no recording of today's session and anything that is said about yourselves or anyone else stays in today's session. Please ensure to make sure that you use suitable language throughout, and can I also double check that everyone signed their confidentiality form. So, let's make a start with today's session, Building Blocks to a Healthier Lifestyle. So as the name suggests, this session touches on all the different things that help create a healthier lifestyle. But firstly, well done for joining today's session. This shows that you are keen and ready to start making healthy changes, which is great. Getting started can often be the most difficult part to making changes. However, a slow and steady approach and being consistent with the healthy habits you make is key to making lifelong changes. As we move through the programme, we will encourage you to think about things that you might want to change. Have a think of some examples as to why you might want to change and your reasons behind wanting to make healthy changes. It could be something like to feel healthier or for future job prospects, or maybe you might want to take up a new sport or hobby. These are all good reasons for wanting to make healthy changes. So in order to help us with these changes, we'll be setting weekly goals. Goals are a great way to identify small, easy steps to achieving an overall goal and to also track your progress. At the end of each nutrition session, you will be encouraged to have a think about what your next goal could be, and we ask that you record this on the goal tracker sheet in preparation for your key worker phone call. You should have hopefully received your goal tracker sheet by now, but if not, please liaise with your key worker. If you're ever unsure of what goal to set, your key worker can help you identify a goal during your weekly check-in call. So, let's have a look at what makes a good goal. On page 4 of your session booklets, you will find these 2 goals. Goal 1. Swapping a chocolate bar for a piece of fruit one day this week. Goal 2. Never eating chocolate ever again. Have a think. Which do you think is the better goal? So, goal 1 is a great goal because it's a SMART goal. It's specific and clear, so it's telling us what change they are going to make. It's meaningful as they are choosing a goal that is important to them. It's achievable as it's a nice small change. And finally, it's time-based and measurable as they have stated exactly when they are going to make the change and how often they will do it. But why isn't goal 2 a good goal? So goal 2 isn't a good goal as it's really hard and would be difficult to stick to over a long period of time. So bearing this in mind, have a think about what you think a good goal could be. So for example, it could be something like, I will try 1 new vegetable a week for the next 5 weeks. I will have a glass of water every morning before school. As we achieve our goals, we can continue those positive healthy changes we're making and think about adding another goal into the mix too. So let's talk food. So just like how cars need fuel to go, we need food as our fuel. Food provides our body with energy for movement, growth and repair, as well as maintaining our body's essential functions such as breathing, making sure our body is at the right temperature, keeping our hearts beating and digesting the foods we eat. There are 3 main food groups called macronutrients. These consist of carbohydrates, fats and protein. Most foods contain a bit of each group, so it's good to eat lots of different types of foods so we can benefit from the range of different nutrients in them. During your Eat Well Guide session, we'll go through each food group in more detail, but just for a brief overview now, let's look at carbohydrates. So carbohydrates are a big food group and the main energy source for the whole body, especially the brain. So wholemeal versions of carbohydrates like brown bread, rice and pasta are high in fibre, which help keep us fuller for longer and provide different vitamins. We understand that not everyone likes the wholemeal versions and prefers the white varieties, and if this is the case, we encourage you to focus on portion size and also encourage you to keep trying them every so often due to the taste buds continuously changing. We'll be looking at portion size during week 3 of the nutrition sessions. Carbs are often demonised by the media, for example, bread is bad, but we definitely don't want to be cutting any food group out. The issue isn't carbohydrates themselves, but that as a population we eat more than we need to, and often pair them with high-fat foods too, like adding lots of butter to a slice of toast, for example. Now to look at fats. So fats are an important part of the diet. They provide the body with energy and help store important vitamins such as vitamin A, which can help our eyesight, and vitamin D, which helps our bone health. Even though we need fat in our diet, it is only recommended in small amounts as it's very high in energy, and we are recommended to opt for unsaturated fats instead of saturated, as more often these are the healthier options. We'll go into more detail about fats during the Eat Well Guide session. Finally, protein. So the human body is made up of protein, so we need to make sure that we eat good sources of protein to support growth and repair. Meat, fish, eggs, nuts, beans, lentils and veggie meat replacements such as corn and tofu are all sources of protein. The recommended portion of protein per day is 2 to 3. So basically, ensuring that you're having a protein source in every meal time is a good way to get this in. Having a source of protein at meals can also help keep us fuller for longer. Another good fact is that healthy sources of protein such as salmon and mackerel or walnuts and soya can also benefit our skin, nail and hair health. The energy we talk about in food and drink is called calories. In the booklet and throughout the presentations, we have used the yellow sun symbol to show 100 calories in food. So let's put this into perspective. Have a look at the foods and drinks on your screen. We have a mega bar of chocolate, a chocolate brownie milkshake, an apple, and a cheesy deep dish pizza. So have a think, which one do you think is the lowest in energy and which one is the highest in energy? Right, let's have a look and see how we did. So the lowest in energy is the apple, with less than 1 sun. The next is milkshake with 3 suns. Then it's the big bar of chocolate with 6 suns. So that leaves us with the highest in energy is the whole pizza with 10 suns. So is that what you thought it would be? Or has anything surprised you? So I was quite surprised at the milkshake. So even though a milkshake is milk based, which is in its natural form, has many nutritional benefits, but because of the additional sugars added to the milkshake for its taste, this has increased the number of suns. A top tip would be, if you do enjoy a milkshake, opt for the lower sugar milkshake straws or syrups to keep the energy down. So let's look at energy balance. So when we have more energy than what our body needs, over time this can lead to weight gain, which makes our bodies work harder. But on the other hand, when we eat a little bit less than what our bodies needs, we can stop gaining weight and might even lose weight too. This doesn't mean all we have to eat is salad. Eating the foods we like is important, but it's all part of the balancing act. As the weeks go on, you will cover topics such as takeaways and fast food, and food swaps, which will demonstrate how making small changes to the meals we enjoy can help make them more balanced. Have a think now. Have you ever tried to make any healthy changes before? If so, what were they, and did they work well? So for example, I have started to make sure I have a piece of fruit in my breakfast every day. This makes sure I have a good start to my day. Let's talk movement. So to achieve a healthy diet and lifestyle, it isn't all about changing what we eat and drink. Movement is also a big contributor. It's recommended that from the ages of 5 to 18 years old, you should aim for 1 hour moderate intensity physical activity daily. We are referring to it as physical activity instead of exercise, as you don't need to spend hours running, for example. Physical activity can be any form of movement, such as cleaning, or walking to school or college, participating in PE, bike rides, joining in on fitness games such as Pokemon Go, or following a Zumba dance class on YouTube. The list goes on. But finding a form of physical activity that you enjoy is so important. If you enjoy it, it's less likely to feel like a chore because you are enjoying doing it and will therefore be more likely to maintain it. So, have a think. Do you have any suggestions for any physical activities that you could try yourself? So during your time on the programme, you will be trying out different physical activities and talking to our physio team to come up with suggestions of different forms of physical activity that could work for you. You may have already started the physical activity sessions with them too, or have this to look forward to. But these are so important, and we encourage you to do as many as you can. If you have any ideas of different sessions that you would like to try, please don't hesitate to let us know. But the take-home message from this slide is that movement is movement. Find a form of physical activity that you enjoy and try to gradually build this into your routine, as it provides many key benefits such as helping to use up some energy from the foods we eat, help to keep our bones healthy and strong, build up muscles, and also release feel-good endorphins. So let's talk screen time. When we say screen time, we mean all the time we spend watching TV, playing video games, or on the computer, phone, or tablet. You may remember at the beginning of the programme we asked how much screen time you engage in a typical day. You might remember feeling quite shocked about yours, or you might not have been surprised and it might have been less than you thought. But the idea is we should try to limit this screen time, as it doesn't use up much energy at all if we spend most of our days sitting on a computer or lying down on our phones on social media. In addition to this, it could also strain our eyes and can affect our sleep patterns due to the screens giving off something called blue light. Blue light stimulates the brain, therefore if used before bed, it slows down or stops the release of sleep hormone melatonin, therefore making it harder to get a good night's sleep. We understand it's very difficult to get away from screens and blue light completely, but there are a few things that you can do to limit exposure. This includes reduce screen time, take regular breaks away from the screen, change the setting on your phone as well, which we'll talk about during phase 2 of the programme, Sleep and Routine. So we will finish each session each week with some handy top tips that will help summarise the session for you. You can also find these top tips in your booklet at the end of each section if you need a recap. So today's session's top tips are: think of some healthy habits you would like to start or that you may have already started. Have a think also about some not so healthy habits that you would like to change. And finally, try to focus on healthier choices and feeling good. So as we mentioned earlier, each week we will discuss goal setting at the end of each session. So this is Tom and Shan from your booklet, and here are their examples of the goals they have set themselves based on today's session, just to give you a few ideas to get you started. They are going to try reducing screen time by 15 minutes on a Monday, going for a 5-minute walk after school on a Wednesday, or eating a piece of fruit with breakfast on Friday. So now it's your turn. Using the goal tracker sheet, have a think and write down a small goal you can make, and you can discuss this in your next one-to-one phone call with your key worker. So just to sum up the key take-home messages from this session. Make small changes, so start with little changes that are easy to make. Go slow and steady, this will help us to make changes that last. And finally, try to reduce the amount of time on your screen and use that time to start moving more. So Tom and Shan have a few quick questions. So is this a diet? To that we say no. We don't want you to see this as a diet. Diets are really difficult to stick to and they come to an end eventually. We like to say that this is a lifestyle change. This means that we want you to pick up some healthy habits so they stick around for good. Shan asked, does this mean I have to stop eating all my favourite foods? And to that we say no. We still want you to enjoy your favourite foods, it's just in healthy amounts. So thank you for joining today's session. We have now come to the end of it. Next week's session is the Eat Well Guide and the importance of food balance. Please have a read through of your booklet of the Eat Well Guide section before next week and make a note of any questions you may have. If you do have any questions following on from this session, please contact your key worker and they'd be happy to help you. I will see you at the same time next week and on the same day. Please remember to leave this session by pressing the red button. Thank you.